you can't hold on to things that are no longer serving you. And this is what I'm always trying to share with people, because you honestly, it does not help you to be holding on to things so tight because you can't let them go. Yes, it is painful. Yes, it is sad. But in the end, it's good to let things go when it is time to move on. So I'm editing this video right now, and I am realizing there are a lot of things I want to interject here because it was kind of emotional when I was filming it. So if this is your first time here, my name is Robyn. I help overwhelmed people simplify their lives so that they can really start living them. Now this one stung a lot, and I will never go back to this house. And this time it was actually pretty heartbreaking. Now, people think that for me, letting go is always easy. On my videos, they will say, wow, I wish it was so easy. But honestly, it isn't always easy. Or they think that if it's hard to let something go, that you shouldn't. And that is also not true. So I want to talk today about letting go of a very sentimental item for me. And hopefully it will help you learn to let go of sentimental items, things, whatever, in the future as well. So we're really going to get into how letting go of a sentimental item. Sometimes you need to actually really spend time and process things. And just to come to terms with that, you need to let it go, because some things you really, really shouldn't keep. And this is an example of that. Now, I remember when the conversations started arising about letting this go, but my brain honestly could not go there. Me, the minimalist, was like, no, we're not letting this go. Now, this was the most stable, constant house that I had known for the last 29 years. I remember family get-togethers there, people on the deck, the food, the laughing, the smoke, the memories of Grandpa laughing. I mean, when my grandpa would laugh, it was just amazing. Like, you knew it was so funny, just the thought of him laughing. Now, my brother, my cousins, and I, we would play in the hot tub downstairs, and then we would get out and we would play a game of pool, and then we would watch movies. We had so much fun. And it was kind of like the type of house where the kids just go in the basement and you're not exactly forgotten about, but the adults are having fun upstairs with the other adults. So it's good. It's fun down there. So there are a lot of memories associated with this house. Some of them go way back and some of them just carried right on through. And the ultimate in a cozy house, I mean, really cozy, warm, inviting. I mean, at Christmas, it was honestly magical. Grandma's decorating was whimsical. Her baking was beyond delicious. And thank God for a child's metabolism I had at the time. That's all I have to say. Yeah, like it just really sticks with me. Like this house it feels like it's a part of me. And of course, I knew this house wouldn't always be with us, like obviously. But to be honest, I'm kind of surprised we even had it in our house as long as we did. I think that this really is a good example of the Swedish death cleaning fear of death instinct that Margareta Magnusson talks about. And I mention this all the time because to me, these really hit home for me, the clutter instinct, the hoarding instinct. But this in particular, the fear of death instinct, this is when it's really hard to let go of sentimental things. And this house is a perfect example of that. Like for me, I am having to basically let go of my childhood during this process, even though I'm like in my 40s, but also letting go of my grandparents and what their life was and all of the other things. So a few years ago, the dreary Vancouver Island dark winter started really affecting my grandpa more, and he would be much better in the summer, but in the winter it was really getting to him, and he started not feeling well, and he had started having trouble word finding, and he would call me my mom's daughter, like he couldn't remember my name sometimes. But funny, like people with Alzheimer's, they kind of have a way of like working around it. And he's such a smart guy that you wouldn't even notice it if you didn't think about it. So as a nurse though, I just have a way of accepting changes like this. And I sort of just keep my distance from the feelings involved, honestly. Like I know these things happen and you're just sort of like, as a nurse, you're like, yeah, this is what's happening. And so Grandpa started not eating well and he was getting really skinny. And my mom started suggesting that they might want to move to a seniors building where the food was provided amongst other things, because then they could be more like taken care of and more healthy, and it would be easier for them not to be dealing with the stress of the house. So again, I thought, no, this is their house. They should stay here and help can come in. And honestly, I did talk to colleagues about this, and they said, no, it is good often if people can just get like help to come in and bring food and get house cleaners and stuff, but it just wasn't working out. And Alzheimer's, it just is, unfortunately, the thing about Alzheimer's is no matter what, it is a decline. And although you can slow it down, it can't be stopped. Now, then COVID hit. Now, this is not all depressing, so hang tight with me. But then COVID hit. So we all wanted to keep them safe in their house, obviously. And of course, busy me, I visited them even less than I already had been before, of course, because of COVID. But so this spring, my mom and her sisters, along with my grandparents, decided to sell the house and that they would move into an apartment with all of the amenities. So they had a couple of realtors come by, and again, like you're just sort of like, oh yeah. I honestly, I thought this would take a while. Like anytime we've sold our house, it took a while. But I remember when the sign went up in early August, and I was caught a little bit off guard, honestly. And I remember waking up in the middle of the night though, and I could not fall back asleep because I was like, that house will be gone soon. And I didn't even realize how much or how permanent that would be though. So pretty much I was coming to the realization that the time in the house for our family was over. It wasn't going to go on forever, even though it had felt like it was going to forever. And within just a few days, they had 3 offers and they sold it over their asking price. So that was good for them. But the possession date was in 1 month. And so my mom and her sisters worked very hard at packing the house. I offered to help, but they wanted to be the ones that were sorting all the stuff, which is fine. And that is another story. And we will talk about that in weeks to come, about how to deal with all of the stuff. But for now, let's just say it was a lot of stuff, a lifetime of stuff, and we will be talking about it. But it was crazy to go into their house and just look at the cabinet where I used to lay in front of when I was a kid, like 8 years old, listening to Christmas music. And I can still remember the sound of like the kind of the magnet of this cabinet closing. So this was actually the process where I really started realizing that it was time to let it go. And I mentally just naturally started letting it go. You will let things go. It might not feel like you will be able to, but you will. You don't need to keep a lot of things. I mean, for me, I don't get crazy sentimental, but for some things I do. And this is an example of that. So when I walked through the house for the last time, I remember saying goodbye to every room and I took videos. But I have to say though, I felt less sad than I thought I would. And this is the thing, like things had changed in their house. They grew older, we all grew older, and you can't recapture what is lost. So holding on to the house when it was no longer serving any of us would not have been fair to anyone, not to my grandparents, my mom, my aunts, like myself even, like no one. It doesn't serve anyone, not the house. And the memories from their house are my memories. And I can honestly say that no house had or probably will ever hold such intense, strong memories for me. And this is an example of why keeping this sentimental thing would be a mistake. Keeping this house would be a mistake, like so many other things are. You need to keep these things in mind when you are decluttering. Does it serve you? Is it good in the long term? And I don't live in the house that we brought our babies home to. Well, my parents, they moved on from their house, but I have all of those memories. I don't need things. I now don't have my grandparents' house anymore. There was unfortunately a bit of a falling out with the people that bought it. And so I don't see myself going back there, but in all honesty, I don't want to. You can't hold on to things forever. I feel at peace now. Maybe just a little sad, but I do feel at peace. And the thing is, like, you can't keep things that aren't serving you. That house was not serving them. And I make this sound all about me, but I just wanted to share my part of the story. It's just so interesting how eventually I started making peace with things, and I did not even realize it, but it just started happening naturally. And then I was able to let it go. you can't hold on to things that are no longer serving you. And this is what I'm always trying to share with people, because honestly, it does not help you to be holding on to things so tight because you can't let them go. Yes, it is painful. Yes, it is sad. But in the end, it's good to let things go when it is time to move on. So even if it's just something small and you're like, this isn't serving me anymore, you gotta let it go. Or if it's something as big and as important as a precious childhood home, you need to let it go when the time to let it go comes. So I hope that this helps bring you peace for how to let things go. I have this video here about sentimental items, and this is my Christmas playlist because Christmas is coming up and I wanted to share this story because I know I will be talking about this a lot in the coming weeks. So anyway, I will chat with you soon. Have a great day. Bye.